Hey guys, Beer Stalkers here. We're at another spotlight video. This time we have Bill from Infusion Brewing doing it. So it's Raul.
Abby.
And Justin.
So again, like we've done before, we're gonna go ahead and learn about Infusion Brewing, see what how they came to be, future, and have a drink or two while we're doing it. Alright, so main
It's Friday afternoon.
yeah, and it's a Friday afternoon, so why not, right?
It's the perfect card.
So as our main question, Infusion Brewing, why start brewing beer?
Oh, I've been drinking craft beer for a long time. Obviously, a lot older than you guys are here, and I got into the craft beer scene. Believe it or not, back in the early '80s. So when there was a very in its infancy, I guess, if you will, and so I was drinking craft beer, seeking it out, getting it, going places where there was a craft, and there weren't very many craft breweries. I mean, literally, you could count craft breweries on, maybe a couple hands or whatever. There were very few in the country, and so yeah, beer's always been kind of a love for me, and when the craft beer scene started to evolve, it just became, a natural, progression and passion for me to want to be involved with it and bring it to this community. And started out, I owned the Crescent Moon, so that was kind of our first entry into it, bringing craft beer or a wider variety of craft beers into the Omaha market. But in the back of my mind, I always thought, it'd be kind of cool to make our own, brew our own beers. And
So when did
I'm gonna turn the voice recorder just in case, so we have they can mix it up today.
Well, but that's really interesting to hear about that, because we think of craft brewing as a lot more modern thing, but it's true that it was fairly around in the 80s.
It was, yeah. We drank plenty of imported beers. We drank, whatever we could find that was different. Right? There were still small regional breweries that were making beers that weren't necessarily completely industrial bottles and stuff like that, but it was definitely an influence.
And so the name Infusion, what just came with that?
It was suggested. It was a name that was suggested by a friend, because I loved beers that were infused, I guess, if you will, with other flavors and stuff like that. I didn't. Our goal was to set out and brew things that were just a little bit different than most breweries did, so infusion meaning that we were infusing our beers with various different ingredients and flavors and such.
Do you have some favorites that you like to infuse beers with?
Favorites. Our Dominican brown ale was one that worked really good with infusions. Typically darker beers, take on other flavors, whether it's chocolate or some sort of berry or coffee or things like that. But we were, so I guess that's why, like our blonde, kind of set ourselves apart because most people were making like vanilla stouts or vanilla porters, and we put vanilla in our blonde and made, you know, a blonde, you know, less boring, I guess, if you will. You know?
Kind of taking that lighter beer and like bringing it up with the infusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that because like the lighter beers are some of my favorites, and like finding that stuff infused with like other flavors has been really fun to like.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's one of those deals where, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love just, you know, beer that just tastes like beer. You know, like our Mexican lager. But it's also fun to have, you know, to play around with different flavors and stuff, and, you know, interject those. And obviously, you know, we're by no means alone in that. The brewers are doing that, you know, constantly now with different, trying to come up with different, you know, flavor profiles and such for their base beers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. They say, speaking of the vanilla bean blonde, that was, if you want to look back, first video, the thumbnail is actually right there. It's a great beer. It's since we had it, and I think had it recently, it's gotten a lot better, especially with all the variants you have. Speaking of variants, I have two. This is the orange Dreamsicle, and then the Mexican vanilla bean blonde.
Really?
Now, what makes the Mexican vanilla bean blonde different than the regular or original?
Well, believe it or not, the Mexican vanilla bean blonde was the original incarnation of vanilla blonde.
Oh wow.
And a lot of people don't realize that. We had gone, a bunch of us had gone to Mexico, gone down there to you know, Playa del Carmen area or whatever, and we brought back some vanilla. I think we brought back like a quart of vanilla or something like that, and brought that back and everything. And anyway, we ended up dumping that quart of vanilla into our blonde when we first opened in 2013, and that was the beer that kind of took off for us. But the second batch of it, we transitioned to vanilla that was more readily available to us and everything, and we went with that. So I went back to Mexico last summer, and I brought back some more vanilla, and I said, hey, let's you know, for our anniversary, which would have been our 7-year anniversary, I said let's release the Mexican vanilla bean, you know, just as a special real limited release. It was just draft only, and it came out tasting great and everything. Everybody loved it, and we drank it up. So this year we rolled it out, and we rolled it out in a limited, very limited amount of cans and some draft in the market. So it's just, you know, it gives it's a little bit different flavor profile to it than the vanilla that we use in our standard blonde. So it's just a nice variation. Some people like it better.
Plus, it calls back to your guys' heritage.
Yeah,
you know, where it started.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So, if from all the beers that you brewed and brewing, which one would you say is your flagship, or which you would be known for?
Well, obviously the blonde is what we're known for sure. I mean, it encompasses you know, a really good chunk of our sales. Well over 50% of our sales is the blonde. I mean, that's really without that beer, we probably would be doing this video at our original Benson location as opposed to being here, because there would have really, without blonde, there really would have been no reason to have this facility. This facility brews about, you know, 70% of the beer that this facility brews is blonde out here.
Okay.
So it encompasses a lot, you know, and most breweries have a flagship brand that has enabled them to grow their business. There's flagship brands, you know, even within our town. Other breweries have their flagships, you know, and then you look at Anheuser-Busch or you know, there's you have to have a beer that is dominant in your sales, you know, category, and
You can hitch your wagon to it.
yeah, and otherwise, you know, you know, you're just kind of like making beers and seeing what sells, you know. So to be able to grow as a commercial brewer anyway, you kind of have to have, you know, that beer that pays the bills for everything else that you make.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely.
Get the top seller, and then you can play around with everything.
Right,
else.
yeah, that gives you the opportunity to be able to brew other beers, you know, and hopefully, you know, not completely become known just as a one-trick pony, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
I mean, with all the varieties of the blonde, I think it's not really a one-trick pony. Is you know, you have your main,
It's the
your
Swiss
original.
Army knife.
Yes, yeah.
It's the Swiss Army
Yeah.
knife of ponies now.
You know, like new flavor. We got 3 more coming out. Don't worry about it. And then of course you always go to with the blonde. I know you won.
Yeah, I did have another question. I saw, looking around at some of your different beers, that you guys have done collaborations in the past.
Sure.
So, like, what does a collaboration look like in the brewing world?
What does a collaboration look like? You know, it's been so long since we've done a collaboration because of, for obvious reasons, you know, that will go unmentioned. You know, we used to do collaborations on a fairly regular basis, whether it was within a brewery within the town or the state or the region or whatever. But you know, obviously, you know, those kind of took a back seat over the last year or so. But I mean, collaborations are definitely fun. We've done collaborations with a number of breweries, and you know, they're a great way to get, you know, brewers together and exchange ideas, knowledge, experience, and you know, usually, you know, each brewery comes to the table with something. So you know, whether it's you know, some special ingredient or whatever, it's kind of sometimes cool to do a collab with a brewery that's, you know, not in your state or whatever. Maybe they have some sort of, you know, ingredient, whether it's, you know, their locally sourced honey or whatever it might be, that they can bring, you know, bring into the mix. So it's definitely cool to do those, and hopefully here over the course of the next, you know, few months or so, we can get back to making some collabs for sure.
For sure. And having that ability to share information and stuff like that sounds like the craft brewing community to me. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's like our craft brewers conference. You know, every year there's a big craft brewers conference that's held by the Brewers Association. Well, there hasn't been a craft brewers conference since the spring of 19. So here we are in the spring of 21. So, and the next craft brewers conference, they're normally held in the springtime, and they get like 17 or 18,000 craft brewers, you know, industry people together in a city, and you talk about, you know, an exchange of ideas and such. Well, they finally are scheduling one for this fall in Denver. So we're planning on taking a bunch of our crew out there to Denver because, again, it's been so long since the craft brewing industry has gotten together under one roof to, exchange ideas, have fun, drink a beer together, whatever.
See what everybody else is doing.
So it's going to be, I think it's going to be somewhat of an emotional reunion, for a lot of people. That,
For sure.
It's been obviously, the hospitality industry, the brewing industry, it's been, this last 14 months has been a huge struggle, for breweries and bars and restaurants and stuff like that we obviously depend upon for our livelihood to stay alive. It's definitely good to see us coming out of it.
Yeah.
I would love to go. Just
Go
be
right.
just to be on a fly on the wall. Just be all like, so what are you talking about? Oh, is that what you're thinking of? That's what you're thinking of?
Let me taste that.
Yeah.
It's an amazing experience. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever gone to like Great American Beer Festival or like anything like that.
The last one I wanted to go, I couldn't make it happen. I was like, oh, I'll go next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can probably go to what next year was.
Unfortunately, yeah. No, it's the Craft Brewers Conference. It's just it's just getting all these like-minded people together, and you can go to seminars. But there's a big exhibit hall of all where you can talk to suppliers, malt suppliers, hop suppliers, cans, bottles, kegs, advertise everything that that touches the brewing industry is there on and add into that lots and lots of great beer, and you have a pretty fun 4 days of activities for sure.
Nice. A question I have. I know when I first started taking notice of Infusion, you were basically primarily in bottles, and I saw you transition now. You're in cans.
Yep.
What came to that decision to go to cans?
I think it wasn't rocket science. It wasn't any revelation or anything like that. The craft brewing industry, I think, as a whole, is moving generally towards cans. There's almost no new breweries that are opening up that are actually bottling their beer anymore. Bottles are, they're more expensive.
Yeah.
There's a lot more packaging that goes into it. They're heavier to ship. A case of bottles weighs a lot more than a case of cans.
Fragile too.
It's a better container. I mean, we've heard all those kind of arguments about, it keeps the light out, so it increases your shelf life of the beer because there's no light that penetrates the can like it does even amber glass.
Avoids that skunkiness.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're just more friendly to the environment. You can recycle them easier. Glass is, nobody wants to recycle glass for whatever reason.
You can do a whole lot more cans recycling by crushing them or whatever.
Yeah, you can take cans camping. You can take them to the pool. You can take them on the golf course. You can take them to the beach.
Oh yeah.
And they're friendly to the environment. Like you said, you can crush them down, and you can take that. Once you've drank that 12-pack of beer, you can fit those into a little sack. Once you crush those beer cans down or whatever, fit them into a little sack. Whereas, what do you do with the bottles? I mean,
it's
you don't want to crush the glass.
Three times the space.
You break them and hope you don't cut your hands.
Right. Yeah.
But there goes your bag.
It's just better for all
definitely. All right, that's
around.
More economical. And if you want to really get that glass pour, you can come down to the Infusion Brewery, or pour out in a glass.
I mean, I know people. There are some people out there that really are want their beer in a bottle and everything, and like we tell them, it's like just pour it into a glass. You know, it's like you will get the same effect, if you will. I think beer should be drank out of a glass anyway, because you are by pouring that beer, whether it's in a bottle or a can, if you're pouring it into a glass, you're releasing some of that CO2 into the out of the beer. You can drink without getting that real filled up feeling and such that you get from drinking it straight out of a bottle or a can, where you're ingesting a lot of that CO2. It's just better to just pour it right down the middle, create a nice frothy head of foam, and
go to town.
Yeah, and then just drink her down.
I never would have thought of that. Huh.
Yeah.
Why do you think I have so many glasses?
Yeah.
Anything?
I
Did you
think
have another question?
I think I did have another question. It's gonna take me a second to remember it.
Well, I guess I can ask a question then. What has been your favorite beer that you've made so far, besides like the vanilla blonde?
Okay. Sure. I mean, truthfully, I love the lagers that we've made. We make a fair amount of lager beer between our Squatcho, which is our Mexican style lager. Super crushable. In fact, this beer has become now a year-round offering for us.
Nice.
So it's easy drinking. It tastes great if you want to throw a lime into it or whatever. Add a little bit of citrusy tartness to it. But I love our Little Bow Czech Pilsner. That goes really well with polka music and Polish sausage or whatever. I love our Oktoberfest beer.
Yes,
I love
great.
our Metz Lager, which is kind of our throwback, our retro heritage beer that pays homage to a historical brewery in town. So we have a really great range of lagers that we have a dark lager that we collaborated with a brewery in Germany with.
Oh wow!
Which is really, really excellent. It has a little bit of roasted malt flavor character to it, but still really smooth and easy drinking. So those are the beers. Lager beer. Anybody will tell you that lagers are much more difficult to make than ales, and they're much more difficult to make and hide any imperfections. A beer like this, or a Mexican lager, if there was anything that was off in it, there would be nothing for it to hide around or hide behind or whatever. You can't hide behind the hops like you could in maybe an IPA. You can't hide behind all the big malt or whatever that you could maybe in a stout or a porter. This beer has to stand on its own, and it has to, if it doesn't taste good, you're going to know it with the first sip.
Oh yeah, and it certainly does stand on its own.
Yeah, and that's the
really
first
good.
thing. Yeah, and so we're really super proud of this particular beer, because again, it's a lighter beer. It's a crushable beer. You can sit and you can drink. That 4.3%. It's pretty easy drinking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure.
You can drink them all day, and and not get hammered, if you will.
Yeah.
Great beer for the beach or the golf course or whatever.
Just a nice weekend day beer.
It's very sunny.
It's our lawnmower, yard work beer, whatever.
Yeah. Put it on the porch, and then when you take a break, walk over and pick it up.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of Squatcho, I wasn't following social media at the time when I got it, so I didn't know it came out. So when it first came out, thing that caught my eye, the art. I was all like, what is he doing with that hat? I was like, you know what? And then when I grabbed it, I go, oh, it's Infusion. All right, that just sealed the deal. And I was all like, I was wanting something light. Mexican lager, definitely, good light. Got that first sip, that first glass, 'cause I think I poured it in the glass, was amazing. I was all like, yep. There are certain Mexican lagers that shall not be named that are commercialized. Are just I just stay away from, because it makes me feel like a Bud Light, Coors Light.
Sure.
It's just like, it's just like they're just making it to throw it out there, and people are just buying it to drink. This though, it feels like it's you put the time in it. He said you can't hide anything behind it if there's something does bad come out from it. So having it taste great like that, it's just it's just goes to show the time and work you put into the beer.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience. Like, I'm not crazy about Mexican lagers, which is why at first I was like, okay, I'll try a little bit. But then you taste it and you're like, oh, this is crisp. This is very different than the other commercialized stuff.
That's what I was telling you. I go,
this is great.
You're fine.
Plus I love Squad Show. I love Sasquatch.
I love the name. I love the name.
Yeah, same.
It was actually, we went to Colorado, and me and my friend, when we went squatching. So we went to. We know he's not in Colorado, but we decided to go
what
into.
If he was?
What if he was?
For him?
Yeah, we went looking for him. We had a whole backpack of stuff ready. 3 cameras.
How many times do I have to tell you we ain't in the Rockies?
I know, but you never know. He might took a trip.
He might be going to the brewing conference.
He might be migrating down to the Sierra Nevada or Sierra Madres.
Yeah.
Or I don't know wherever
He
he
just
goes.
took a trip through Nebraska to check out his own beer.
Right.
That's what happened. But so as for Infusion, is there any plans for any kind of events? You said you own the Crescent Moon. I know Polish Fest is coming up.
Polish Fest is coming up. Yeah, Infusion really doesn't have much of anything to do with that. But we do have our Vanilla Bean Fest that happens in July. That's the first weekend of Omaha Beer Week. So there is an Omaha Beer Week finally too.
Yes.
It got pushed back, and it's actually going to happen in July. So I think that's around the 15th or whatever. I don't know exactly without looking at my calendar. But it's the first Saturday of Omaha Beer Week is our Bean Fest, where we do usually about a half a dozen or so different vanilla bean varieties. That's where the like the Orange Dreamsicle came out of Bean Fest. Last year the hit was our Pineapple Coconut. That's getting canned here in a few weeks. It'll be Pineapple Coconut Bean. And then who knows what flavors we'll concoct this year for. We're still kind of in the drawing board stages of determining which flavors will come out for this year's Bean Fest. But that's always a popular event. We do it twice a year, and this one will, because of the weather and everything, will be outside. We open our patio next Friday.
Oh, nice! Yeah,
we're super excited. We finally got our patio in. Super excited to finally have outdoor seating here, because neither one of our other locations has outdoor seating because of space constraints or whatever. It's not possible, but out here we finally got the patio in, and so that debuts unofficially debuts next Friday. So
nice.
We're excited
like
for that for sure.
Like I always tell friends, like I love Benson. I love the food and everything. Just hate driving around there because it's just.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I guarantee.
Cramped.
Yeah.
Well,
it's cramped.
It is.
Where I usually park in Benson, it's right in that. It's right behind. What's that cookie place? That new cookie place that came out. Across from the CHI, little CHI.
The
health.
midnight cookie one, or?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little.
Yeah, it's that parking lot.
Yeah, it's a little parking lot.
Yeah.
So walk down, I take a left, few doors down, I should say. There's Infusion.
Yeah.
If I decide to go the other way, there's Benson Brewing. Or if I decide to go straight, there's I forgot the name. Beercade.
Beercade. I was like, yeah, there's a beercade.
Beercade.
Right?
But I haven't been to Benson in so long. But yeah, I usually go take a trip to that the Infusion in Benson. Just go in, get a couple beers, head out to wherever else. But yeah, I mean, I do like Benson. When I first moved, I was there every weekend, just because it was close to my house at the time.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, and then I went to one St. Patrick's Day. We went to the one in Benson, and I had a green beer. I think I'll find the picture. I'll put it on the screen. But it was they made a green beer. I think it was the vanilla. It was the blonde.
Oh,
but it was
dyed green.
Yeah. Did you put some food color in it and did it? St.
we
Patrick's
might
Day.
have we might have offered some green beans
Yeah.
that year.
But this year I did see. Speaking of different flavors, did you really make a pickled bean, or was that just?
Yeah, absolutely. Pickled bean is has this cult following to it, and it sounds horrible. And when they first pitched me the idea, some of our employees were like, "We need to make a pickle bean." I'm like,
You're like,
I'm
what are
like-
you talking about? Is this work
no,
related?
No, that sounds horrific, And we bring out pickle bean every bean fest. Pickle bean has been a staple for us because it is hugely popular. And the first year we made up just a really small batch of it, and it was the first thing to sell out. I'm like, okay. So sometimes it's like anything else. If you plan to try to be successful, most successful things were done by pure accident or whatever. You just stumble into them. And the pickle bean has been kind of one of those ones that's been had this this cult following to it. So we bring it out every now and then, and I think we're actually, I don't know. I don't know for sure yet, but there's been talk of possibly canning a few cases of it. For,
Limited
for the
edition.
Extremely limited. I mean, we're doing June. I think it's June 5th. It's June 5th. I think it's a Sunday. We're releasing some. It's National Churro Day, and so we're releasing our churro bean that day.
Oh yeah.
It was at our Winter Bean Fest, and it was the hit of the Winter Bean Fest, and it's really really good because it's got the vanilla and everything, but it has a little bit of hint of cinnamon and stuff to it. It's really really good. So we are releasing an extremely small amount of churro on National Churro Day, which again happens to be
Might
on
have
Sunday.
to make a plan.
So, yeah, that's going to be a tap room only release. You can't get it anywhere else except in the tap room, and I would
Better not work.
suspect it'll only last probably only last a couple of days or whatever. So
Yeah. I really want to try pickle bean just because you're talking.
It's really it is amazing. It really is good because it's. I mean, it's you can taste the vanilla, but yet it's really offset by a very straightforward dill pickle, flavor to it, and it's actually refreshing. It's like think of it like cucumber vodka.
Okay.
Okay.
If you like cucumber infused or vodka infused with cucumber, think of it like that. Is that actually that the pickle or the cucumbery, pickly flavor actually provides a refreshing,
Nice.
kind of flavor to it, and it's very easy. It's very easy drinking because it really takes away maybe the sweetness of the vanilla bean.
Yeah.
It really kind of balances it out with the
Nice
dill pickle.
sweet tart type of
And we
flavoring.
use,
Okay.
yeah, we use pure dill pickle juice.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I can understand
And-
why it
and a
has
lot of
like
it.
a cult following. Just
Yeah.
like I feel like pickle culture is a thing.
Yes, yes.
And just
It's
the
a
fact
pickle
that
culture. It really
it's
is.
like it's a pickle beer with like vanilla. I feel like just even if people don't expect if it like because I'm thinking I'm like I don't know if that would taste good, but I want to try it anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think that's what it is.
Surprisingly, I've heard that comment more often than not. They're like, this sounds horrible, but I want to try it, and then they try it, and they're like, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. And I've heard that comment so often from people that say, it's really, I really kind of don't hate it.
You just hear it and you're like, I need to try that at
Yeah,
some
yeah.
point in my life.
Now we gotta try the mythical pickle bean.
I gotta
Yes.
try the pickle
Yeah.
bean.
So yeah, Pickle Bean will return at Bean Fest
Okay.
in July, whatever.
Okay,
so,
cool.
I'll try to get the day off.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the mythical,
Or it's the week. It's the week.
the
Oh, wow.
it's
mythical
a whole week,
pickle
okay.
creature only comes out of
Yeah.
hiding every.
So yeah.
Six months or so.
in Sasquatch, you
Yeah.
know, or hiding out in the woods.
Yeah, right.
So when I saw it on Instagram, I was all like, it's a little early for April Fools, until April Fools, and deviled egg vanilla blonde.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah,
Oh,
okay,
you saw that.
yeah. I was like, okay. So the pickle
pickle's
bean
real.
is real. That's not or.
Yeah,
Maybe.
You'd be surprised how many people came in asking for it, asking for the deviled egg.
Well, I mean,
Because I guess they're used to us just doing,
Just going
it's
for
like,
it.
hey, whatever. If it's a flavor, we think, why not?
If Infusion's
could
doing
see-
it, it's
Why not?
probably good.
Right.
I could see the spices from the deviled egg
That might be
in a
nice.
in a beer, but
Like
I don't know about the
paprika?
egg.
Yeah. I was like, how are you gonna get the egg? How are you gonna get the egg?
egg profile?
You get
No,
paprika and all that. Yeah. That. But yeah.
No,
No.
that was purely April
Oh.
Fools there, and thankfully so.
Because I was like, I knew there was one that I couldn't remember, because I remember seeing pickle and I remember seeing deviled egg. I couldn't remember which one was real and which one was fake, or if they were both fake. So I went back and I looked. I go, okay, so I was thinking right where I thought it was early. Then you proved me wrong, where it actually is real, the pickle
Yeah.
bean. But thank God the deviled egg is not real.
I will say, I've learned recently there is something called black salt, and it is it gives like eggy flavor to like
salt.
foods
Yeah.
like tofu
Oh, okay.
and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I guess if you really
I wonder if you really could use that in a beer though.
put some black
I don't
salt,
know,
some
it'd be-
paprika. Why are we giving some mustard seed?
I don't know. There's a recipe.
It's a dangerous suggestion.
Stranger
I don't
Things.
I don't think it wants a repeat of when they came up with the pickle. They're like, no.
think. No.
Stop it.
This one I'm not even going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
So as far as like other like future plans for drinks, do you guys have any like big plans for new brews?
Big plans for what?
New brews?
Oh, new brews. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think what we have coming down the pipe. We just released a new Hazy Ipa that we're really proud of. It's real limited. We brewed it in Benson, but we're going to brew it again and again, and eventually some incarnation.
Yeah, we really thank you, Bill, for the time that you gave us.
Yeah, thank you.
I know, like I said, we'll be on the lookout definitely for that churro bean and the pickled bean when it comes out. Definitely be on that. Make sure that at least one of us will be able to come and get some. Thank you for your time, as everybody. I'll go ahead and put where you can find them on social media. I know Facebook, Instagram. Do you have a Twitter?
Well, tweet much, but for sure Instagram and Facebook.
I'll go ahead and put those on there. Also follow us on all of our social media. We'll put the thing on there: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Untapped. Like, subscribe, of course. Definitely go follow them. Like their page and follow the Instagram.
Go get some Pickled Bean.
Yes. We'll put some information below, or we'll just update it with that once we find out when the Pickled Bean and Churro come out. So
Yeah, keep your eyes on their Instagram.
yes,
and,
and
their Facebook.
we're definitely going to link it to our Instagram. So just be on the lookout. Thank you, Bill, again.
Thank you.
As always,
Bet.
stay classy and tap that.